I am Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Most people don't know this about Anna Vocino, but she started off life as
she's a maniac.
And she is a maniac on the floor. And by the way, she's not from a steel town, but I think her husband grew up somewhere near a steel town.
In a steel town.
Yeah, we can make that jump right away. I have no trouble.
And Flashdance was the first R-rated movie that I ever saw.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You want to know what my first was?
What?
Take a guess.
Urban Cowboy.
Wow.
The Pope of Greenwich Village.
I didn't see that coming. Patton.
Oh, Patton. That was rated R?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it had to be. I didn't look, but I'll look right now. Let's see. Patton.
Do they still rate the movies like that? Nobody cares, right? Kids look at porn now and like there's video games. Nobody cares about rated R.
I just, I look at that and I go, oh, wow. I was 8 years old when it came out. And my dad took me and my brother to the theater to watch it because my dad's an American history professor. And he was like, yeah, you guys are going to go see this.
He's laughing about Urban Cowboy.
Yeah, way before. The first nude woman I saw was in the Playboy magazine from Woodstock. It was one of the students that my mom and dad. Oh, I'm sorry. Patton is currently rated at PG, but it's just currently rated.
Currently, they revised it. They're like, yeah, on second thought.
Yeah, this is nothing.
This is nothing.
I wonder if they tell you original rate. Well, PG. So, yeah, no, my dad took us to see that, and
wow, how
the only time a Playboy magazine came into the house was, Woodstock. Playboy went out there and did a bunch of, and a girl. They recognized the girl from my hometown. You know how Donaldsonville is. I mean, I got in trouble by mentioning Donaldsonville on the show once.
Yeah.
And that's why
when I was worried about Playboy coming for their ladies.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, when I was talking about my buddy Louis Savoy selling, coffee with condensed milk in it the other week, it was like, God, I hope they don't come after me again because I wasn't saying anything bad about Louis or his restaurant. I was just saying he was saying
only time will tell. When because that episode still hasn't aired as of us recording this. So
I think it aired, and I
did it? Okay.
My mom hasn't written to me, so it's not. They're not Facebooking it. That's how I find out everything.
That's how you know is when they're Facebooking it, and your mom sees
when
it.
They Facebook it, and my mom reads everything about me on Facebook, and then, like when I tell my mom I'm on other platforms like X and all, they don't even know what that is. Like that does not exist in their world. Isn't that crazy? Or the podcast doesn't really exist in their world.
God bless. God bless. I say.
But the problem is that the only thing they think Facebook, like the internet got to Facebook and stopped. That's where they are in life. And
it works for them. It works for them.
Yeah.
And I get that. Listen, the platform that I prefer is Instagram as a user, but I get almost zero engagement. I mean, I have my core people and we message all the time. I message with people on Instagram. I have no idea who they are. We send messages all the time. Yeah. I love it because for me, it makes sense, but I get no engagement. TikTok, depending on the video, like a cooking instructional, I'll get a lot of engagement on the post, but it's not a place where you can talk to people. You know what I mean? I like to do lives so I can talk to people. And Facebook, we get the most engagement. And for me, it doesn't work. So I don't go there as often as I should. I'm trying to be better about posting new recipes and stuff in Facebook because I know that's where people like to be. I think it's a comfortable place for a lot of people.
Look, I have one of my biggest groups, Vinnie Tortorich's No Sugars, No Grains, is on Facebook. It's on Meta. But Meta has made it very clear that they don't care about me and the likes of me. Right. they tried to get rid of my site one time for hate speech, if you remember right, a few years ago.
Because we said bacon fat.
When they wrote to me and said, this is your first and last warning on the hate speech.
Yeah, and that would be a perfect example of computers be algorithming, because it made no sense.
Right. Well, I was like, what did Kurt Lapierre say now? I'm thinking through what did someone say on the thing? And then I asked Meta what was the hate speech, and the word was, as you just said a minute ago, bacon fat. Well, I couldn't use the term bacon fat. That was considered hate speech. What
would you do if you're in a cooking group? Because there's so many cooking groups on Facebook, right? What if you do if you're in a cooking group and someone's like, hey, what do you got? Which is what the post was. What do you do with your leftover bacon fat? Wasn't that the post? And people are like, oh, I save it. I fry my eggs in it.
Yeah, that's what someone said. Someone wasn't calling someone else a bacon fat.
Hey, you're a bacon fat.
Yeah, bacon fat you. And then on Instagram, which is also is Meta, is Facebook.
Right.
Every time I got close to 100,000, like I would get to like 98,900, they would start taking my people away.
Interesting.
To the point where they would bring me all the way back down to like 89,000. I was like playing around that. Apparently there's something special happens if you get to 100,000 or so. I don't know what it is.
I'm not there, so I don't even know what that is.
Chris and I, at first I used to ask, went back when it was like 60,000, it kept throttling. I used to ask Megan. She had no idea. She would ask people. But then Chris and I got into it, and Chris knows people that work over at Meta, like higher ups. And he said, hey, what's going on? At first, I thought my boy Vinny was paranoid or something. But he goes, I'm watching it in real time. They all of a sudden take thousands of people away from him when he hits a certain number. And then people write to me and they'll say, hey, man, why did you cancel? Why did you take me off of your Instagram? So fans would go, did I offend you? I didn't say anything. And you just took me away. And it's like, no, I didn't do anything. Right? Meta took you away. They decided that you shouldn't be following me.
Yeah, that's the weird thing when they arbitrarily take away, arbitrarily take away, what's it called? Followers. Because you're like, it's so funny because whenever Adam Mosseri posts he's the CEO of Instagram, and he tries to post things when there's updates on the algorithm, and he always makes it sound like he's a really cool operator. You know what I mean? He's always like, well, we decided to, do this thing. We think it's really important for creators to blah, blah, blah. And he's like a real mellow vibe. And then people are just like, why don't you let the algorithm let people see my content? Why can't I see my friend? Like, that's what it is. It's constantly that. I'm like, oh, we're not the only ones. It's a mess over there.
And by the way, people would tell me, even the people who subscribe to me, they wouldn't show them the content. Right. So I had enough of it. And by the way, just so you know, I'm not paranoid. Chris got in touch with a higher up over there. They looked into me specifically, and that person got back to Chris and said, yeah, they got him. We have levels of locking people down. He's locked down at the top, the top rung of being locked down.
Why? Because you told people that oatmeal might not be the best choice for breakfast?
This guy didn't know why. He goes, what does he talk about?
Because it's bullshit.
Well, it's like he talks against big food and big pharma. And of course, they have influence, right?
Yeah.
So big food or big pharma can just go, hey, we don't like Vinny. Hey, Meta, lock him up. Put him in Meta jail. Let him think he's talking to people, but he's not.
Remember when you switched a post a few months ago, you changed the language on X to have the word Ozempic in it, and you took it out and just said weight loss?
Yeah.
And it all of a sudden got 10 times the engagement.
By the way, I just put a post up yesterday or I think it was the day before. It was a thread about GLP-1s. You want to talk about people praising me and people hating me. I just went down. The hate is amazing. And
is it bots? Because I've heard they hire bots to respond.
A lot of them
companies do.
Because you'll see 20 or 30 people, but some people have 100 or 200 or 300 people. And they're telling me how they're cousin and this and that, blah, 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 blah. And it saved my life and this. So I get it. I get where these people are. They're frustrated. They're upset. I don't say anything to them, but that post, just calling it a GLP-1 and pulling the word Ozempic out, had like 57,000 views in a couple of hours. So
versus 100.
Yeah, versus 100 or 0, right? Yeah. So it's funny. There was another. I'll put up a post with Casey Means when she was on the show. Boom, nothing. X just, you put up a thing with Casey Means, you get nothing.
I'm looking her up.
It's kind of
cute. Nuts. What does she do?
She and Callie Means are the brother-daughter team who, got into government, and they've been yelling about food. I had her on the show early on before anyone knew who Casey or Callie was.
Okay.
But she was just getting started. She probably wouldn't even come back on the show now. Some of these people big time me. They'll
oh wow, she's got almost 1 million followers.
They'll come in the show hat in hand, and then next thing you know, they're talking to RFK Jr. and I'm just fucking chump. I'm a chump, right?
There she is. She has her arm around Huberman. She's got, there she is on Rogan. Okay.
So
she's not coming back to our show.
Right. She couldn't get on any of those shows when I had her on. Right. And now, and by the way, she did a douche move in my show that I had to cut out. I'll tell you about it off the air. Yeah. It's a douche move. And early on, I won't tell you.
Now I want to know. Can you text me?
It's too long of a text, but other people, like this woman that I'm going to text you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Anna. This woman was the first woman that came to me and said, don't show her any favors. She's all about her. She's not about helping. I just sent you a text. This person called me early on when I had her on the show. This person had her sussed out day one.
I trust the person that you texted me.
Day one. When you got a phone call, phone rang, I'm like, what's going on here? So I picked it up and she was like, don't trust that.
It takes grit, determination, hard work to make business work. It takes there's an extra thing to be able to make yourself impervious to any criticism at all. So to grow a social media and be that kind of like publicly, you either have to have like a staff of people protecting you if you're sensitive at all, which I'm not saying that. I actually think that sensitivity is a good characteristic because then you can understand what other people are going through. I think that's important.
Yeah.
But obviously you don't want to destroy yourself by reading negative feedback. You don't want to say, you don't want to internalize stuff from strangers, but it takes an extra bit of like, sociopathic mindset, just that extra little bit. I'm not saying that they're sociopaths. I'm just saying you have to have that extra thing that goes, I don't care. I don't care what anybody's saying. I'm going to grow this. I don't care who I step on. I'm going to grow this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, look, I can, Anna, there are several, when you were just saying what you were saying, 5 people came into my head of people who steal. I think I might have said this on a podcast. I was at an event with my good friend Nina Teicholz. And we went to the event together. She stayed at the house and the whole thing. And so we went to the event. We were both speaking. And she was speaking that morning, like 4th that morning, right? So she and I are just sitting in the audience watching other people's talks. Mm-hmm. First person comes up, Johnny come lately, doesn't, just all of a sudden this person became a low carb person and now they're espousing low carb. We have never heard of this person before. And literally putting slides up, quoting word for word Nina's book. Big Fat Surprise.
Oh, and didn't credit her?
No credit. And Nina's like, that's right. I mean, the words are right out of her book. So if someone's saying the words, you can go, they accidentally said exactly what Nina said. But when you're reading the words, it's an excerpt from her book. No credit to Nina. 2 or 3 other things comes out of this person's mouth. All Nina. All stuff Nina figured out 20 years ago. No credit to her. The second person comes up and picks up where that person left off and started using Nina's content. By the time the third person got up there, I said, Nina, you won't have not one person pointed in the audience and said, I got this from that woman. Which whenever I've done talks at these things, if I'm saying something that I've gotten from, Anthony Chaffee and he's in the audience, I'll say, by the way, that guy sitting right there in the third row, Anthony Chaffee, is where I got this. That guy, Ivor Cummins, is where I learned this. That guy, Dave Feldman, is where I learned about this cholesterol thing. I will point them out in the audience when I'm on.
You have to. It's the right thing to do. By the way, when you go through school, you have to you learn how to write a research paper, right? It's not everybody's favorite thing to do. You have to go to the library, or in this case, I'm sure you wouldn't go to the library. Nowadays you would do ChatGPT. But regardless, you've got to, when you're compiling a research paper, you have to find sources that support your argument, and you have to cite those sources. We learned that in school. It's 101. Like you have to give credit where credit is due. And that's one thing that drives me nuts about the internet, is that people don't do that. I love giving credit to where credit is due, because it brings people together, because we're not alone in this. We need each other to help raise each other's platforms up, which is why you have people on, and why you go on other people's podcasts. I go on other people's podcasts. I have people on my Substack. We're getting, that's how you get the message out. No man is an island. Like, you can't do it without the help of other influencers. So it's like, why would you not give credit? I think it's because people think, well, I need to sound like I have fresh ideas, or I don't give a shit, or worst case scenario, I don't give a shit about anybody else. So I'm just going to claim everything as my own, build my own following, and be, that asshole.
Look, to that point, I was giving my great grandmother credit in my book. It's like, look, I didn't come up with it. This is what we were doing before we went nuts with all this fake food, right? And people, tried to go, oh, you started this low carb movement. It's like, yeah, I'm one of the forefathers of starting it on the internet. And they'll say, well, who started it? Atkins? It's like, no, he got it from Banting. So we can go all the way back to the 1800s. Right. If you want, this is not a new idea. We were using ketogenic diets. It was the number one approach to fix epilepsy back in the 1930s. None of this is new. The only thing I'm guilty of is being one of the first guys to bring it to the internet. And the idea was forgotten to such an extent that the first time I went on Adam and Drew, before I was ever on the Adam Carolla show as a semi-guest, I went on Adam and Drew. It came out on my birthday that year. I want to say 2014 or 2015, one of those years. People wrote to him and said, you got to get rid of this podcast, because what this guy talked about will kill people.
Yeah.
Right. And I went on their show, 5-6 years after we started, maybe 7 years after you and I started, maybe 4 years. I don't know. It was early on.
Oh, no, that's a couple years. It was just a couple years into it. It was 2014.
All right. So
2012.
Okay. All right. 2015, the end of 2015. So about 3 years after we started, it was still so new. People wrote to Drew and said, you have to distance yourself from this guy because he's telling people to eat bacon.
Yeah.
Right. That's how weird that was a scant 12 years ago, or 2015, 10 years ago.
I got in an argument with one of my best girlfriends, and she said, and she was a model, gorgeous, still gorgeous.
Right, Jimmy, I need to know which one.
You don't know her.
Yeah, but I want to look her up.
She was in remember when the Pirelli calendar was the thing?
Oh, yeah.
She was in the Pirelli calendar
in
the 80s. But she's 10 years older than I am, and she is drop dead gorgeous still to this day. But she said, I don't care what you say. She just basically shut it all down. She goes, I don't care what you say. You will never convince me that butter is good for you. And I was like, we will agree to disagree. And you know what? Frankly, she's the skinny, beautiful model. I'm a pudgy character actress trying to fucking watch my weight all the time. So it's like on the surface, she's right?
Because like you take Serena, right? Who is, her genetics just don't quit. Her mom was wearing, tight hip hugger jeans on her 84th birthday.
Right.
The genetics are just insane.
Absolutely.
Right. So you take Serena, willowy, thin, the equivalent of what a supermodel was when she was modeling. They just didn't call them supermodels, and then broke into acting and the whole deal. Okay. Her body is going to be lean. Her arms are lean. Her legs are lean, and like, just amazing. Right. But when I first met her, she understood eating fat. She ate a lot of real butter. She ate red meat, and she did all the things. But she also ate, she was like a quinoa. You got to get your grains. You got to get.
Right.
Okay. Then she starts paying attention to what I'm doing, because in her mid 50s, she started going, okay, I'm postmenopausal. Of course, I'm going to get the low belly. My mother had the low belly.
Everybody gets the little belly.
Apparently,
it's where you store what's left of your estrogen, which is really sad.
It's what they tell you: belly, belly, belly. And, her sister's a year and 8 months older than her, so she's looking at. Of course, she's still lean and muscular with the little belly, the little Buddha thing going.
Tiny pooch, yeah.
And for what I don't proselytize at my house. She's got the only vagina I will ever see. Right. I got to be nice to her.
Better walk the line.
Yeah, I got to walk the line. I can't mess around, because if not, I could go find another vagina, but I got to leave my house behind, which is a whole problem, because
I don't recommend it.
It's called the vagina conundrum is what it's called. Right?
Yes.
It's like, God, if I can't have that one and I go find another one, oh God, took me so long to get a house, right? It's like, I don't think I have time.
A house with a sofa. A house with a sofa.
I only have a couch. I mean, my whole life, I didn't have a couch. I had a television with a spinner set up in front of it. It's in my book, folks. It's a true story. I lived.
That's the most fitness bachelor picture you could paint.
Yeah,
I was fitness bachelor.
The most Spartan lifestyle ever.
But we finally got somebody to put a ring on it.
Yeah, and then she made me buy a house. Go figure. And but by the way, down in my man cave, there's 1, 2, 3 seats that I sit in for exercise. There's an echo bike, there's a regular spinner, and then there's a rowing machine. And that's what I'm usually on, one of those 3 seats when I'm watching television. But I digress. Serena's got the little pooch, and she thinks it's never going to go away. And she's like, you know what? Let me just try. She started exercising, by the way. She, besides just running, which just gave her a flat ass, and she lost all. And she goes, why is my ass getting flat? Because you're only running, honey.
Right.
Yeah, but running up mountains doesn't matter, honey. You need to be. Okay. At some point, she figured that out. She started putting muscle back on. She was like, wait a minute. This idiot was right. Right. Start exercising those muscles.
People give you that feedback a lot.
Yeah, it's the bane of my existence. So then I noticed that she's not having a bun with her hamburger, or she's not making a side thing of rice for herself, or whatever she would do, right? That would go on in the house.
Right.
She's now having the taco thing I make with the Anna seasoning, the Anna seasoned taco powder. She's now having that without she stops buying the taco shells, right? One thing leads to another. That little pooch, that little Buddha belly, gone. That woman can walk out in a bikini right now. She can walk out the door in a bikini right now. No problem. Nothing hanging over. 63 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
Okay. She starts with great genetics, but even she saw what happened to her mom, God rest her soul, her older sister, right? She saw what was going on.
Can I just say, it happens to every woman. Because I was the woman who's like, oh, that's not going to happen to me.
But
I think everybody thinks that.
It's going to, and there's a way to combat it. You got to lift heavy things. You have to work out, and you have to cut out all of the shit that's causing the problem.
Yeah.
Right. And it goes away. The woman has abs. Right. And it's shocking to her. And by the way, then after that, she was like, there were certain things where I would look at her and go, honey, you're getting a lot of carbs there and this and that, the whole thing. So she did the next step. She ordered a CGM. She got a doctor to order a CGM, wore the thing for a month. And I said, honey, why couldn't you just listen to me? Why did you? She goes, because I listened.
What's the fun in that?
Well, she goes, I listened to what you said. And I said, well, what did I say? And she goes, I heard you tell a client on the phone one day when you're walking through the house, get the CGM, because once you know the information, you cannot unknow it.
Right.
Right. And she heard me say that, and she was like, you know what? He might be right. You can't unknow this information. Folks, if you want to know why I started a vitamin company, it wasn't for you. It was for me.
Psych.
After I got cured from cancer in 2007, I started looking at everything. And I realized that the first thing I noticed was the titanium dioxide. I was like, why would this be something you put on your nose when you go to the beach? Why would you put this in your body? And just a quick, Dr. Google search, I figured out that titanium, and then I went down the rabbit hole, talked to doctors and everything else. Titanium dioxide, even in nanoparticles, can cause colon cancer. I had just beaten cancer. I didn't want to go right back into it.
That's
and then
crazy.
I started looking at things like magnesium stearate. We need magnesium. Magnesium stearate blocks the absorption of the minerals you're taking from your food and your vitamins. So I went down this path of trying to figure out if I can make a vitamin just for myself. And I figured out that I could. But in order to make it affordable, they told me I would have to order about 100,000 bottles. Well, again, that's not affordable. But guess what? I decided to form a club and let you guys in on it. It's called purevitaminclub.com. So what I did was I made the world's best vitamins for myself. I make these things for me, but because I can't take them all before they spoil, I sell them to you. That's what purevitaminclub.com is. You're a part of a club where you're getting the best supplements on the planet. If you remember right, towards the end of the pandemic, we started running out of vitamins. Why? Because we were having supply chain problems getting the good stuff. And all of these companies said, come on, Vin, you can use this to make your product. Nobody will know. And the answer is, I would have known because it's going into my body too. You see, folks, again, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. I'm not going to cheat myself, and I'm certainly not going to cheat you. That's what Pure Vitamin Club is. We're back. We're swinging for the fences. We're in stock on everything. Go to purevitaminclub.com right now. You'll get the best vitamins. You'll get the Rolls Royce of vitamins, and you're going to pay a Toyota price. purevitaminclub.com. Go there right now and check out everything that's going on. Anna, what do you have over there?
Oh my God.
Oh,
okay. Good morning.
By the way, folks, she does voiceover for a living.
Oh my God. Okay. Here's what I have that I found. Okay. So I subscribe to various CPG newsletters. One of them is called Snack Shot. So CPG means consumer packaged goods, because I want to know what's going on with food. CPG, that's basically Eat Happy Kitchen, is a CPG company. Pure Vitamin Club is a CPG company. We're making things, we're making cool products and selling them to people, right? That's a CPG company. And Correct. Snack Shot is a very good newsletter, popular newsletter in the industry.
It's also a great porn name.
Snack Shot.
Yeah. Yeah. He's black. He's a black porn star.
Oh.
Snack Shot.
Snack Shot. So it's a woman named Andrea.
Yeah, there's one named Cobra. I'm not making that up. There's a reason they call him Cobra.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Snack Shot.
So, Vinny, I had not. Do you remember Olestra?
Oh God! All right, let me. Do I remember it?
Yeah.
God, I
This
never.
would have been when you're in your training heyday, right? And people were having Olestra with quote unquote the side effect was anal leakage.
Folks, I'm not making this. This is kind of before the internet, probably before 2007 ish. My client
was it in the 90s?
Hollywood,
It was late 90s. Or was
maybe
it?
it was. I can't. I'm having trouble figuring out dates anymore. But all of a sudden, you can't stop your clients from doing what they're going to do. Look, they're in Hollywood. They're trying to do the best they can. They're hiring me. They're doing it. They hear about Olestra and they're all in, right? But as Anna said, the major side effect is anal leakage. And there wasn't a day that went by where a client didn't tell me about an anal leakage mishap. And
like they were literally shitting their pants uncontrollably.
To the point, I had a client, luckily it was a home gym. They were doing squats one day.
No. In front of you?
Yes. And here's the thing.
That's horrifying.
Here's the thing.
They had those potato chips too. You're like, well, I know you ate Olestra.
Here's what happened. Okay. I've always said that my female clients never started a period doing a workout unless they were wearing their white tights.
Of course. That's just the law of the universe. You
got the white tights on. And then there's the embarrassing thing where I have to say, you need to go check in the bathroom. Just go do a little bathroom check.
Yeah.
And then they would come back all red-faced and embarrassed, just like I am now. And the other one was this poor woman. She was still warming up. She went down with the bar and the anal leakage on the bottom. She came back up and I had to turn my head, almost puked. It wasn't a lot, but you could see it forming on the back. It was rough. It was rough. And I had to tell her, I was like, you need to go to the bathroom. And she goes, thank you. I know. Yeah. I think that's when she stopped Olestra.
I would.
There's
those moments in life where you stop Olestra. That better be one of them.
Her husband was one of the big showrunners on a sitcom. Like these people, Anna knows what that means. They ain't hurting for cash.
No.
I'm in this McMansion full gym.
But isn't that interesting? Even with all the money in the world, you're trying to figure out how to game the system. And Olestra was one of those attempts to try to get the food system to get people to eat stuff that they couldn't eat. Junk food manufacturers will never stop. Food manufacturers, I should say. Food manufacturers will never stop trying to innovate different ways to get you to eat fat and sugar and salt, sodium. Yeah. They will never stop the innovation because we as a society have decided that we love our junk food. We love our processed foods. And so they'll never stop figuring out a way to innovate with food. Now, sometimes it could be a very good innovation, but most of the time the workarounds are not anything that's going to serve your body, which is why Vinnie and I are constantly talking about eat real foods, whole foods. And why when somebody gets upset about, let's say, fava beans, I'm like, yeah, fava beans ain't the problem.
Yeah, nobody got hurt. By the way, Anna, I think we mentioned this on the show before. This is one of my favorite reads. I read it right around the time Tallulah was looking at colleges. And I remember we were in DC at, I want to say William and Mary. Where's William and Mary? William and
Mary's in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
You were at Georgetown, probably.
So we saw Georgetown. We went to William and Mary. It was during that time. So way back before Tallulah went to college. And I put a book on my Audible before I left because I wanted to read it. It was by a guy named Michael Moss called Salt, Sugar, Fat. Debbie, please put that book in the Vinnie Book Club if it's not already in there and move it right to the top.
So the food man, and he talks about it in his book. It's talked about in many books that the food manufacturers are purposefully, they have whole R&D departments that they spend millions of dollars on to optimize different foods to create either a diet food or create the perfect taste sensation, the perfect balance of fat in your mouth. There's a famous study that the no one can eat just one Lay's potato chips.
That was the big deal. Yeah.
That was a big deal in the 80s when they did, or in the 70s actually was when it started. They figured out the perfect crunch point where people would just crunch and keep wanting to grab it and crunch the chip, right? And I get that. The crunchy thing is probably the thing that people miss the most with NSNG, which is how the cheese bites that I invented came to be. Because we need to get that crunch and we don't want to overeat nuts, and it's a whole thing. We all want the crunch, right?
Right.
It's a human instinct. It's how like psychologists talk about how even the grinding of the jaw. Watch when like roided up dudes get mad, they'll like grind their teeth because
Right.
it's how we process anger, how we process aggression. And I would venture to say, if you've never explored this side of why you want something crunchy, it could be that something earlier in the day really pissed you off and you're like, I just want to crunch into this. And we don't always put that together. So the food companies are like, well, we'll help you. We'll manufacture some bullshit for you to crunch on and never manage your anger at all. Just eat our stuff and it'll make you really sick. And then you never deal with your feelings and then you get sick and die. Great. Cool. So the innovation in food, I think, is really important, that all this research is happening. But when they come out with stuff and then try to tell us that it's grass, generally regarded as safe, according to the FDA rules, is where it really pisses me off. And then when it pisses me off extra, is when somebody has raised $75 million for said fuckery. So,
and that's probably the first buy-in, right? 75,000. So
no, 75 million. Did I say 1,000?
you said 1,000. 75.
Oh my God.
Million.
I'm sorry. That wasn't very effective. 75 million.
Right.
So there's a new protein bar company that has and by the way, 75 million is a 10% buy-in. Their valuation is 750 million, almost $1 billion for a protein bar company, where when we all know that you could just go eat some meat and some eggs. Okay.
Right.
Protein bars. It's crazy to me how the protein bars and we talk about this time and time again. Go to the grocery store, read the ingredients, the protein bar section. As Vinnie, see, I'm giving credit. As Vinnie always says, it's a candy bar. It's a candy bar aisle. It's the healthy candy bar aisle. And I'm using air quotes when I say healthy. It's not healthy. So this company is making a protein bar the company's valued at $750 million. They just closed on $75 million in financing. And guess what? The reason why it is so groundbreaking is because it uses a fat called EPG, called EPG. And hold on. It won't let me read this briefing. Where is it here? I want to get to where they've reformulated this fat. And guess what?
It's a fat alternative that mimics the properties of traditional fat, but with significantly fewer calories and less absorbable fat.
Less absorption. That's the thing.
This sounds a lot like Olestra.
And guess what? One of the side effects is exploding buttholes.
Okay, wait, can I read on? I'm getting this from AI Overview.
Great.
It's created by modifying plant-based oils, typically rapeseed oil, to resist digestion. Okay. Rapeseed oil, that's canola oil, right?
Correct.
These are the same seed oils that are dilapidated. These things are rancid from day one. In order to draw this oil out, you have to, it's so chemically processed. It's processed to the nth degree of anything. I've often said that the only thing that canola oil or soybean oil or any of it is good for is if you have a sewing machine or you have a shotgun, little gun oil. Those things are the same oil. And you'll go, oh, come on, Vinny, I can't just put shotgun oil in my mouth. The only difference is they add a chemical smell to it so that you'll know that this is not a safe oil.
Don't eat it. Yeah.
Ingest. I'm not making that. People go, wait, they really add a smell to those? Yeah, it's the same oil that they add a smell to, just like with gas, like the gas in your gas stove. There is no smell to that gas. It's odorless and tasteless.
Right.
The reason you can smell gas in your house is they add sulfur to it so that if there's a gas leak, you won't die from the odorless gas. You'll say, wait, it smells like farts in here. What's going on? Oh, the gas is leaking, right? That's an added smell. These oils are the same oils. It's an added smell. They've now taken rapeseed oil which was highly processed to begin with and not made for human consumption. And now they are doing something else with it. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. The fact that the government, our FDA approve this shit, Anna? Go on.
And by the way, EPG is not grass in Europe.
Unbelievable. So
let me go into a little bit of details and see why. Yet another reason why Vinny and I are yelling into the void. And this time for me, it's personal, obviously, because I just did fundraising earlier this year. And folks, I did a crowdfund and people stepped up in a big way. And I'm still like, it's mind blowing to me that they can raise 75 million. But the reason they can do it is because the market is there. People are always looking. They know that they can make dollars. So I'm going to read a quote from one of the biggest CPG investors. Okay. And I'm going to kind of interpret it as I go along. So this guy, his name is Peter Rahal. And he's one of the, he's a veteran CPG founder, and he's involved with this company. He says, quote, CPG sucks. It does. It sucks because of the competition. So, right, we know there's like 3 moats, and moats meaning there's 3 ways to make money where you can like seal yourself off from competition and actually grow a brand. Okay. So we know there's like 3 moats. There's the brand moat, really abstract and takes a long time. That's what I'm doing with building the Eat Happy Kitchen brand. What I'm banking on is finding other like-minded people who resonate with my brand and like the food and want to only buy that brand, right? So it's a lot of work. It's a brand moat, really abstract, takes a long time is what he says. So I don't put much merit into it, but it's a real thing. Then there's like trade secret mode or distribution. That's another way to make money at CPG. And then there's a third moat, which is actual IP. And he's talking about the IP of owning this new fat molecule, right? Back to his quote. So we actually have with our business now, and part of the reason we got a really good valuation, it's because we have a really defensible business with 3 moats, which allows us to protect our cash flow. And so like, in 3 years, we're not going to have 10 copycats. They'll try on protein, but it won't be there in calories. So what he's saying is, we're building a brand with the protein bars. We have the trade secrets and dialing in the distribution. And we have the IP, meaning they have a trademarked fat molecule that they're putting into protein bars that allows them to say, let's say, for example, a regular protein bar is 180 calories. Their protein bar will be 100 calories because they know that people still look at calories as one of their qualifiers for buying an item. They don't care what ingredients are in it as long as the calories are low.
Correct.
Right. So this guy knows he can go make a shit ton of money. And this is why he has a $750 million valuation. Whereas somebody like me, he's talking about copycats, right?
Right.
Somebody like me, anybody can go out and do a pasta sauce and say it's a better for you pasta sauce. And let's say they have a bigger social media platform. They can go out and raise more money. They can throw money at the thing. Right now, there's a competitor that we have is always on sale for $3 off. And we can't afford to do that. So if you have no idea what Eat Happy Kitchen is or what the other brands are, you're like, oh, it's $3 off. Yeah. I'm going to grab it. Yeah. And so they're showing what's called velocities, which means turns. People are buying it off the shelf. It means the reorders called turns are hitting. And so that's what this investor knows. And this is what we're up against because these guys know, like, would this guy even eat his own product? Just like that guy from Baskin Robbins, like, I would never even eat ice cream from Baskin Robbins. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. The McDonald's executives won't even eat the McDonald's, but they know that they can make a shit ton of money and they're not able to have a mission-based company, which, drives me nuts. But again, like Vinny always says, there's no free lunch in nature. And if EPG is the next, or EPG, I guess is what it's called, EPG is the next fat gram that we're probably going to see because they can then license that to all the other things. They'll make a fortune. And then it'll stop selling because everyone will shit their pants, but they've made their bag.
Yeah, it's already done and dusted. And look, people are yelling at me. If you go look right now, they're yelling at me because I'm talking about GLP-1s. And one guy wrote to me, you know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. It's like, okay, thanks for going there. But I've had some of the top scientists both MDs and PhDs on my show to say otherwise. I didn't go look at the first page of Google and come up with an opinion, if that's what you think. I have 4 documentaries on it and at least 1 book, bestseller. So yeah, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I haven't done one thing for 40 fucking years of my 62 years on this planet. Yeah, maybe I haven't. Right? or just maybe when you look at Tim Mallion, who looks like a different human being today, who's also on my Twitter feed, maybe you'll go, wait a minute. And this guy's going, I lost another 11 pounds this month. I'm giving you something I read this morning, so it's still in my brain.
Amazing.
Right? Looks like a different human being. Right? When someone like, I don't know, Scott King loses 300 pounds and starts doing triathlons, maybe, just maybe, I know what I'm talking about. Maybe.
That's incredible. I
Right?
didn't realize he had lost 300 pounds. Way to go,
And doing
Scott.
triathlons, and he's going for his first long-distance Ironman triathlon.
Amazing.
Coming up. Right?
That's so incredible.
This is a guy who could not get up. This is a guy who, when he weighed 500 pounds, had gastric bypass, lost 100 pounds, and then put all the weight back on and got to past 600 without a stomach. Maybe I know what I'm talking about. Or maybe I'm an idiot, like the guy said on the internet. Right? Maybe. Who knows? But the one thing I can tell you, let me go on record right now, taking rapeseed oil and bastardizing it even further, good fucking luck. Good luck. Because it ain't going to work out in your favor.
Right.
Right? You got someone like Anna selling you something wholesome. Oh, that ain't sexy enough. We need to get sexy. We need to take sewing machine oil. We need to take 3-in-1 oil, gun oil, and we need to bastardize it one extra step because we can make the calories 100 versus 156. Great. Good job.
And it's interesting because it really is in food. Who's innovative? What's your point of differentiation? What are you innovating? And it's like, well, is it functional? Is it a functional, or is it reimagined? Remember reimagined? And it's like, no, it's just the best version, the cleanest, best, highest quality version of that thing. And I find it very interesting that it's not exciting to CPG insiders. You know what I mean? But I know that there are people out there, and eventually I think, listen, how we've raised our money and how we intend to spend it. And we're launching the cheese. By the way, this should be out. We should be pre-selling cheese bites. We're making the cheese bites the week of June 23rd. I am going to start to.
Will I have to make a call, Anna, or will it show up on my doorstep?
It will show up.
Whoa. When will it be available?
June 23rd.
Okay, Anna.
I'm going to start pre-selling it because then we make it. We got to get it to our place and then fulfill the orders. I'm only going to pre-sell it the day that it's made. If
you wanted to come up Mount Whitney with me and use it,
I know it might not be ready.
I'm leaving on, I think, the 4th or the 5th.
We'll say it on the air.
Or 6th. I'm not going straight to Mount Whitney, but I'm leaving on that day. Okay. I'm going somewhere else first.
Are you going to LA first? Because I could also ship it to you there.
Yeah, but let's see if we could get it to my house here.
Okay.
And if not, then I'll have you ship it to Scott's. Okay. I'm going to stay at Scott's for a few days.
Great.
And then, because I want to go visit.
I would love to. We had a delay in packaging. It was the dumbest thing too. Just a delay in like.
I want to take that product to Whitney with me.
I do too.
I can, I can have some. I could give some to the billionaire.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday.
He's gonna love
it. By the way, folks, if you're planning on being in Mammoth or Whitney at the same time as us, don't bother us.
No paparazzi.
Alabama Cafe. If you see, all right, here's the deal. If you're
so full of shit. You're the nicest person when people meet you.
If you see me at Big Willie's hanging out with my boy Blair, come over and say hi. If you see me
buy Vinny steak.
If you see me at the Totem, you could, or the Four Seasons, you could buy me a steak. It's not Four Seasons like you think it is. No, I think it's actually called Seasons Restaurant. And
you called the Four Seasons
because it's the best thing in town.
Right.
Or if you see me at breakfast at the Alabama Cafe, by all means, come over and say hi. but don't ask to come hiking with me, please. Please. Because I can't say no.
Oh, Vinny, we found your weak point.
Here's the thing. If someone gets hurt with me,
it's over.
He's like, oh, wait, you were hiking with this person?
We're going to have a tell-all expose.
Right. My attorney is, I'm not trying to be an asshole, folks. I would love to go hiking with you. But they go, oh, you were up there training this person and this person fell off the mountain or something or got hurt or you made them go harder than I can't take you guys hiking with me. I know this sounds crazy, but people have been sued for less. But by all means, I'll buy you a coffee at the Alabama or at the Seasons. We can have a steak, what have you. But that's it.
You're gonna have a rush.
Trail, just go past.
People are going to try to get their permits now.
No, you'd be shocked at how many people come up because they think
I'm sure.
they're catching when we're climbing.
Sure.
And we see them in town. We've run across them. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I need to get you the cheese bites.
I'm going to be in LA for several days because I want to see Chuck Klausmeyer. I want to see Adam, see a couple of different people. And then I'm going somewhere else. And then I'm popping into Lone Pine for 2 days.
So you're not at all going to go up the 101?
No, not that far.
Do I need to come down the 101?
Maybe. Yes.
Why don't we figure it out? If you're going to be in LA for a few days.
I'll talk to you off the air.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Anyway, so yes, the
funding. Right after, I'll tell you where I am and when I'm going to be there.
Perfect. Okay. No, I want to see you. But yeah, so we're planning on using that funding till hopefully next year. Eventually, I'm going to have to raise VC money. I'm going to have to raise private equity money. Nobody can do this to the scale to which I want to grow it without raising serious money. So I hope that there are VCs out there who have listened to this podcast or who understand, what it means that you can reverse type 2 diabetes using what you eat. Who can, you know what I mean? Like this stuff is important, and to solve our food problems might not necessarily be creating a fat that causes anal leakage, but that there's room on the grocery store shelves for clean formulas that are actually clean and that taste good. That's what I'm hoping turns out. I have a rough road to hoe, Vinny, because I'm not going, hey, this pasta sauce has lion's mane and cordyceps and
CBD.
And CBD, it's a CBD marinara, and it's got EPG, so there's not even olive oil. Like you won't even digest the fats in it, bro. And then it'll have HGH and nootropics. It's nootropic marinara.
Nootropics in there. Anna, by the way, speaking of CBD, I had a guy on, this is a guy that's at the forefront that got CBD and all of that legalized through the government.
Nice.
He's out of Kansas. Vince Sanders. That show might come out before this one.
Folks, we don't know our schedule right now.
Go forward a week because we're getting ahead because we're traveling this summer. Go back or go forward and find Vince Sanders. Very interesting information about CBD because the guy. Do you know why they allowed 0.3% THC in CBD and it's legal? Any idea?
Because they can't fully extract it out?
No. CBD was illegal completely, right? The government just went, no, it comes from hemp. We have, we've been having a problem with hemp ever since William Randolph Hearst decided that he had trees and
he wanted to sell his trees as opposed to hemp plants.
And he didn't want hemp paper.
Why does it all come down to commerce fuckery?
It always does. But wait, this is even crazier.
Okay.
So the government went in, like Dr. Bronner soap and stuff like that. Dr. Bronner hemp soap and all that.
With all the writing on the thing.
Yeah. It was him and another company where the government went, wait, they're using hemp in the product. And the government just went in and seized hundreds of thousands of gallons of product and shut those people down and shut another company down that was doing
soap.
Right. You got to hear this podcast to believe it.
I do need to listen to this.
Yeah. So I'm just paraphrasing. So they went through and said, look, you guys just seized a bunch of soap, a bunch of Castile soap, and this is kind of ridiculous, and it made the government look bad. So there was a lawsuit, and they said, okay, how much THC is in your product, in the soap? And it turns out it was 0.3%. So they went, okay, we'll make 0.3% the legal amount that you can have in hemp and not let it be counted as THC. So the CBD,
it sounds like everything's an accident.
right. So that's exactly what it was. So these guys who were trying to get CBD pushed for medicinal purposes went, wait a minute, we can now hang our hat on the soap thing at the 0.3%. And that's what they came up with. So the government went, well, we have a legal precedence for soap. We might as well just use it for, and that's exactly how they got to 0.3, by a happy accident and a lawsuit. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. Go listen to, if you go, oh, I have no interest in CBD and the whole thing. The thing I was just talking about with this new Olestra that Anna was talking about, and all of it, and talking about rapeseed oil and the bastardization of that, and go listen to this, because it's all part and parcel of the same thing. It never changes. And yeah, guys like me have been yelling before RFK came on the scene and did everything he's doing. Guys like me have been yelling about this for years, right? Just yelling into a void. You can go find this information out. It's out there. And it's always exciting when you get someone who was on the ground floor of that lawsuit, and what they had to do to get this pushed through is just unbelievable. Any thoughts, Anna, other than
I feel like it's classic U.S. government. Our policy is decided by an accident and like a hand wave, and then to go and overturn that takes 100 years.
Well, look, you're absolutely right. If you look at my first movie, Fat, a documentary, I actually show the committee after 10 years of meeting, right? The McGovern committee, at the 10-year mark, they said, you know what? We've been here for 10 years meeting. What are we going to do? And they said, okay, saturated fat is bad. And somebody stood up in the room and said, wait, we're making a harsh decision on this. It's not proven. It's in my film. You actually see the video from the McGovern committee, but we just went with that. And they said, okay, that's
they were just tired. They were like, well, we're tired of it.
Right. And by the way, that committee started to study food stamps in 1968. And in 1978, the committee kept meeting. Ansel Keys got his shit in there, and everyone just kept meeting and meeting and meeting. It wasn't like a January 6th committee where they met for like 2 weeks, made a documentary, and moved on. They would meet like once a month when they had, all right, let's meet again once we have more information. And they were still infighting. And so they threw their hands up and said, we can't keep this committee going. So let's just make a decision. And Ansel Keys was the last guy to speak. So they went, okay, we're going with that. Hit the gavel. We're moving on.
Cool.
Here we are 45 years later, and we're sicker than ever. And we're yelling about me, yelling about GLP-1s. And we're coming up with a new Olestra that's going to fuck you up even worse than the old Olestra. That's where we are, folks. Villa Capelli olive oil. Villa Capelli. Stephen loves to come off of a rant and go right into Villa Capelli. Yeah. I feel like
they just paid us.
Villa Capelli. Villa Capelli.
The Villa best Capelli. Olive oil on the planet.
Villa Capelli. Yeah. I'm going to start getting Chris Rock to do my Villa Capelli ads, where he just yells Villa Capelli 20 times and then walk off stage. Villa Capelli. You got to have some Villa Capelli. My mama used to give me the Tussin and Villa Capelli. Tussin. You ever hear his routine on Tussin?
No.
Robitussin? My mama couldn't afford Robitussin, but they have something called Tussin, and that's what we got, the Tussin. One time I broke my leg. My mama gave me the Tussin. Well, Chris, if your mama had Villa Capelli, she would have given you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, the difference between Tussin and Villa Capelli is Villa Capelli will make you feel good. Tussin Tussin might get you to stop coughing for an hour or two, but then you feel the effects of all of that chemical and that drug, and now you feel worse. I get it. Some people drink it because they want to get high. This is not good. Drink
That was me in boarding school.
because you want to feel good. That's right.
I would much rather get high off Villa Capelli olive oil.
Should we send some Villa Capelli to Chris Rock?
Absolutely. Can we get his address?
Yeah, I know a friend of his. We have a friend.
Okay, let's get some Villa Capelli.
Okay, we're going to send Paul. I need not Paul. Paul's dead. Paul, don't do anything. You just keep resting in peace.
Paul,
Poor
smoke
Paul.
those Marlboros in the sky.
Yeah, he smoked himself right to death.
Yeah.
Okay, Steven, if I get you Chris Rock's home address, would you?
The answer is yes. I'll speak on behalf of Steven.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
I'll make a phone call and get Chris Rock. We'll send him some Capelli. He'll be doing his next special on HBO. You gotta get Capelli. Capelli.
Villa Capelli.
I got punched in the face at the Oscars. Then I had some Villa Capelli.
Oh, if you ever get punched in the face, you should definitely have some Villa Capelli to calm down.
Yeah, it'll clear you right up. Villa Capelli, you want to get 10% off, put in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE. Use the olive oil that Chris Rock will be using one day. Villa Capelli. If we can get him a bottle, I'll let you guys know. We're going to send him a 3-liter tin.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if we're going to spring for a 3-liter tin for Chris Rock, that means you should spring for a 3-liter tin for yourself.
Yeah. Look, Chris Rock, the man's hurting. He doesn't make a lot of money. He gets punched on the Oscars. The man's hurting for a living. Don't be like Chris Rock. Get your Villa Capelli. Promo code Vinnie. You want to save an extra, you can save on shipping. If you spend more than $140, you take the 10% off. You're above $125. Steven will ship it to you for free. Unfortunately, he can't send it to you for free the way he's going to do with Mr. Rock, but
you got to have a little skin in the game if your name is not Chris Rock.
That's right. Anna Vocino has Eat Happy Kitchen. Anna, do you have any deals going on or anything?
I don't have any deals going on right now.
We do have the new shakers, right? The new shakers.
Nope, the new shakers are not out yet. We'll be by the time this comes out, we will be pre-selling the cheese bites. Oh, yeah. If for some reason this comes out before and you haven't signed up for the cheese bite early notification, those people are going to get an extra 10% off for 72 hours when we're pre-selling. But I honestly don't know what date this is going to air. So I don't know, guys. Go to eathappykitchen.com, support a small business trying to be a big business.
It's a woman-owned business.
It is.
Oh, wait, hang on, Anna. You're more woke than that. It's a woman-owned and gay guy-owned business.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. You want to support gay guys and a woman?
All of our listeners are like, we don't care.
Yeah, I never understood that. This business is woman-owned. Okay.
You know why you get certified? Here's the thing. You have to get certified woman-owned, meaning that a woman owns 51% or more of the thing. And it was harder to get certified woman-owned than it was to fill out all the SEC paperwork to crowd fundraise on our Reg CF. And by the way, that was hard. That was really hard. That was a lot of accounting work and bookkeeping and paperwork and yada, yada, yada. It was harder. So the reason why you get certified women-owned, it's not because anybody cares that they're at the grocery like, oh, this is woman-owned, I'm going to buy this product. It's because the grocery industry, the CPG industry, by the way, see that cut on my hand? I sliced my finger on the mandolin. Be careful, kids. The reason why you get certified women-owned is because they're supposed to give you discounts on slotting fees, because you have to pay to be on grocery shelves. Those are called slotting fees. Really? Or free fills. Like we just had to say no to a grocery account that wanted 2 cases per SKU per store, which would have totaled about $60,000 of free product just to get on their shelves. They're supposed to discount it. If you're certified women-owned, that's why everybody gets certified, because they're supposed to be internal. And it's as of yet, we've not received a discount by being certified women-owned. I've negotiated before we were ever certified. I've negotiated reduced slotting fees or free fills. But no, and by the way, nobody else that's worked for us has done it. I have to get ahead of it. But so they allot these dollars, which just goes to show what BS it all is, that people are just paying to get on the shelves. If you're a Procter and Gamble, if you're Frito-Lay, if you're what are the companies? Nestle, Mondelez, all these big companies, Campbell's, yada yada, Kraft Heinz, they can pay the slotting fees, no problem. They can pay them. When you're a small business that doesn't have the funds to do it, you have to say no, and then we're not available in these places. So you're supposed to get certified women owned, and then they go, okay, they can write that off. These companies write it off. But so far it hasn't worked at all. So cool. So yeah. No one cares.
No one ever cares, Anna.
No one cares.
But they do care about certain music, so I will play music right at the end. Folks, you know what to do, rate and review. Before we go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com. We'll have Michael Moss's book right there at the beginning, Salt, Sugar, Fat. Folks, I read this book. Tallulah
must have been 10 years ago?
It had to be longer than that.
Longer than that?
I was in law for a couple of years and several years of college, and she was in high school at the time. 2016, 17, somewhere around there.
Must have been 2015 or 16.
Because
Lucy went to college in 2017, and she's a couple years younger than Tallulah.
I'm trying to figure out because it came out originally published February 26, 2013. Did I read it that long ago?
Yeah, it might have been. That was an early one.
Here's the deal. As you know, I have a photographic memory for things I actually read. And as I mentioned, I listened to this book on Audible. So when I listen, I don't gather what I gather when I read.
Remember when Audible was one of our sponsors?
Yeah, we had Audible. Squatty Potty was one of our biggest.
Squatty Potty. Use it every day. I love that thing.
I still use mine. It's the one thing that will never go away. As a matter of fact, we had 2 Squatty Potties, but one got lost in the
move
getting here to LA from LA to Virginia. And so now there's only one bathroom that we can both poop in. It's not the Squatty Potty because I'm too cheap to go buy another $10 Squatty Potty.
I would send you the extra because then for a hot second we had 2 houses, so every room had to have a Squatty Potty. I would send you the extra one, but it would cost more in shipping. I should just getting a new one.
Well, when I redo my little bathroom here in my office, I may build. I want to build a nice wooden thing because I like building things.
That's a good idea.
I might build one and stain it up and
custom Squatty Potties.
That's business. Anna, I'm going to become a bazillionaire.
You are.
Yeah. Have you seen the price of wood these days?
And you know what you can oil them with? The new Olestra.
Yeah, probably hold up real well.
Yeah.
No, I got a lot of stain and acrylic. I'm going to make one for my downstairs bathroom.
You must.
And I can use the measurements because I like the one upstairs, and the toilet down here is going to be exactly that toilet. I have the toilet sitting in there dismantled.
It feels when I travel, and there isn't one. I know they have travel ones, but I don't mess around with that. When I travel, it feels weird to sit on a toilet without putting your feet on it. Doesn't it feel weird? You're like, I'm disoriented.
I'm like, where's that Gideon's Bible? I need feet on. We've talked about this back when they used to do.
Oh yeah.
I take the pail and turn it upside down.
The trash can and turn it over. And then but then your feet are like close together and you're like, well, this is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And the other move I do, oh God, we're going a little too deep, but I got to.
Yeah.
Tell us. After we started using the bidet, we got the toilet with the bidet thing.
The bidet
now you're traveling and there's no bidet.
It's revolting how we don't have bidets in every room.
Well, we have the little handheld bidet.
What?
Oh yeah, Serena has everything. Serena is Miss Gadget.
Put this in the store.
I don't know how. Let me see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it.
I need one of these because I travel all the time, and
I cleans her ass. It's let me put hand.
You guys, the Europeans and the Japanese have this over on us. They have bidets in every public restroom, every hotel room.
These are showing handheld.
We need to be cleaning our cookies, okay?
handheld. I need to put in portable. Hang on. Let me put in portable because
So it's like a shower head, like a shower thing,
it's
and
like a little thing. It's from it came from China or Japan. You fill it with water. It's got a battery in it, and it squirts it out. Let me put portable. This is our public service announcement for the day.
Oh my God! Clean your cookie, everybody.
Okay, some of these are pretty big. There's one. Oh, there's one for when you're out on the camping thing. You can just squeeze it in the whole thing. I'm trying to find the one. Serena found the one, but it looks like any of these would work. So, folks, go look for a portable bidet. You can find them on Amazon all day long. There are different versions. I'm sure if we had to buy another one today, it would be different because they look shaped. But these things, once you use them, it's one of those things where you can never go back.
Oh, yep. I see it. Here's one, $37, $39.
Oh, I'm sure we didn't pay more than 15 or 20. We've probably used $20 worth of batteries in them. The batteries last forever. We pull them out after the trip and just leave it in a little pouch with it and just stick the battery back in so it doesn't, go back.
I'm obsessed. I'm adding to cart.
And here's the cool thing. Well, not cool. When you put the water in that little bidet, you put the hot water, it's even that much better.
Oh, well, you must have warm water.
Our bidet doesn't. We only have cold water going to ours.
Oh.
Yeah, I might have to change that when I do the one downstairs here.
Let's all be sanitary and get a bidet. If you take away nothing from this podcast at hour 110,
yeah,
clean the cookie. That's it. That's what we're done. We're done with the show. Good night. Thank you.
We went from having a period in your white tights to anal leakage, and we did it. We made
the undercarriage show.
We literally made a shit sandwich today.
Ooh, this one's USB rechargeable.
Ooh, can you hold? Can I see it?
It's called the Travel Buddy, BUTTY.
Ooh, I see what they did. Yeah.
Rechargeable portable bidet made by Tushy.
Anna, today is leg day.
Gave Tushy a free ad.
My leg day won't happen by itself. I'm going to have to go to the gym and actually do some squats and lunges.
Add to cart.
Anna,
okay. Yeah, we got to go.
Anna, can we give it a review after you use it?
Yeah.
Anna's going to give you a butt cookie review. I
also bought a herb stripper.
I don't even want to know that.
It's in the cart. It's a little metal thing because you know how much of a pain it is to take the thyme leaves off of the thyme strip.
We stick the whole thing on fish and everything and just pull it off at the end.
You can do that, but sometimes you need to have it be part of the spice mix, so you have to rip the leaves off.
Yeah.
So I'm getting an herb stripper. I honestly thought I had everything for the kitchen. I thought the pickle grippers was the last thing I would ever buy for the kitchen, which, by the way, the pickle grippers, everybody mocked me. Those things have come in very handy.
The pickle gripper, also known as my right hand. Yes. Debbie, after Anna reviews that product, we'll put it in the Vinnie thing. Yes. All right.
We're done.
On behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with just a little bit more of Mr. Sabella.